All right. Good evening once again, and welcome to the number one sports show on the planet. My name is Charles Equedo, and this is Sports Blip. As usual, on a Friday, we call it the fun free Freestyle Friday on your number one sports show, where we take you around the world of sports and bring you back in 60 minutes with all the information making the rounds around the world of sports this hour. We want to say thank you for joining us because it is an exciting weekend. Once we get to the weekend, you know sports takes over. I want to say thank you and let's do this as we take you around the world of sports. The gladiators are in the house as always to do justice to all the talking points we have on the program tonight. On my extreme left is Christian Peters. He's on the show tonight, and as Nigeria takes on Libya tomorrow, he'll be telling us all the players we're expecting to see and the result we hope to get. Welcome, CP.
Thank you very much, Charles. It's good to be here once again. Amazing stuff, amazing time, and Super Eagles against Libya tomorrow. Are they going to win? Are they going to draw? Are they going to lose?
They have
That is
no
one
choice.
thing about football. They have no choice than to win, lose, or draw. That is one thing. That is why we call it game of football. And they came in, on Thursday and decided to say, "See, we need a different hotel. We don't want the hotel again." They refused to tell the NFF the day they are coming in. All these things have been happening, but I still know that we are going to enjoy good football tomorrow.
All right, we hope to see the Super Eagles trash the Libyans by at least 3 goals to nil. Also in the house is Mary J. You know him, you see him all the time. When it comes to talking football, you cannot take it away from him. He knows how to do justice on sports. Welcome, Merit.
Thank you, Charles. It's always a pleasure to sit down here, talk sports, talk football on Sports Beep Live. So I would like the viewers to keep it locked, keep watching Sports Beep Live. You're in for a good ride this evening.
All right, we'll also enjoin you to be a part of the show where we open the phone lines. Let us talk sports, especially as Nigeria, the Super Eagles, takes on Libya come tomorrow out there in Uyo. They call it the Nest of Champions. Hopefully, we shall become the champions at the end of tomorrow. 3 p.m. is going to take place. Let's see what they are going to do. But before that, we'll also remind you that we still have the giveaways of ice cream and shawarma on the program. All you need to do is keep watching and keep listening because when we send in the questions, the first to get the answers correctly is sure to win the prize at the end of the night. So let's get straight to the big talking points as we move over to basketball, where the Soso Bob Manuel Foundation weekly session resumes on Saturday, which is tomorrow, 7 a.m. at Police Officers Mess Sports Complex in GROA. Unfortunately, he's not here with us to give us all the lowdown on how it's supposed to go on, but we know that as the basketball season kicks off, his foundation also kicks off to training and mentoring kids on the paths to take whenever they engage in sports. Now we move over to the NBA where we saw some big games throughout the week. One of the most notable was the Warriors against the LA Lakers with their newborn, if you would like to call him like that. Talk about the big man, the one and only King LeBron James. It was a game where I saw LeBron beating the buzzer at the end of the second quarter. A lot of us know what he's capable of, but this time he's beginning to show us that come into the new season, he's going to do a very, very major damage.
For me, I think it's a good one for him. And see, there's one thing most people need to understand is when it comes to the NBA, when it comes to the is it a preseason, whether it's a preseason or a normal season, LeBron James don't take it lightly when it comes to a game between the Warriors. Whether he's playing for the Rivers Hoopers, whether he's playing for the Cavaliers, whether he's playing for the Lakers, as long as it's Warriors, as long as Kevin Durant is there, as long as Steve Curry is there, he's not going to be silent. and he did something this time around. Before, LeBron James, want to go on the ball. Always he wants to make use of the ball. But this time around, he decided to relax. Don't go, on the ball. Be off the ball, and he made a lot of fantastic move. Scoring, LeBron James, as we know, scoring only 15 points. You ask yourself, okay, what was he doing? If he can score 15 points, we had MG scoring more. We had Rando scoring more than him. We have so many of them also scoring more than him. And for me, it's a good time to play. That is to show Warriors that you might have won the title, the championship last time, but understand this, that LeBron James now is in the West and is not in the East. It's in the West. Houston Rockets are there preparing. Oklahoma City are there preparing. Lakers also, they are also there preparing. They want to come first. They want to make sure they win. And winning not at home, but winning Warriors at the Oracle in their own home ground.
But some would say it's just a preseason game. You know how unimportant
a preseason that you see Steph Curry scoring up to 26 points. You see Klay Thompson scoring up to 20 points. You see Kevin Durant scoring up to 18 points. That should tell you that it's not only a preseason. They went there with that mentality that one of the best players is there. We are also the best. We want to play. And the Lakers played, like a team. One person did not just come up like, okay, I want to score. At a point, they pulled out Steph Curry, they pulled out Kevin Durant, and also Klay Thompson. And the Lakers team had to pull out LeBron James, Orlando, and the rest of them. Okay, you to go and relax because they have game tomorrow to play.
Yeah, the same Lakers.
Still Lakers. So now they are coming over to Los Angeles Lakers to play. See, fantastic moment that we saw. 120 something, is it 128?
123,
113. So fantastic stuff. We want to see the season will soon kick off, and fantastic stuff. LeBron James is doing it already. First half, there's one score. First half, short time, and he made one fantastic jump long throw.
The buzzer beater.
I'm telling you, that is where you see LeBron James. He will like, this is me.
Yeah.
I'm back in the
when I started watching that game, it didn't feel like it was preseason to me because it was really end to end from both sides. Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant. It was almost in the first quarter, it was almost like Kevin Durant versus LeBron James, because LeBron James was doing for the Lakers. Kevin Durant also took it upon himself to do for the Warriors, and it was really end to end stuff. And if you see, one thing I really enjoyed from this game was the teamwork from both sides. Lakers, they played like a very cohesive team. LeBron James, we know he just joined them this off-season, but he played like he has been there with that team for like 2 seasons. He took his role in that game was a bit laid back. He just sat back controlling the game. It wasn't all about LeBron James. It wasn't all about James getting the 3-pointers or the jump shots or what have you. He actually controlled the game as a senior player who he really is. Playing with younger ones like Brandon Ingram and the rest of them. He really showed maturity, controlled the game, and the Lakers also, they had a lot of cohesion between themselves. The team play was good. So for a preseason game, it was more like a championship game for a preseason game. So it was fair on both sides. Both sides played well, but at the end of the day, the Lakers won. It was fair result.
Can they take that into the season, defeating the Warriors?
Yeah, of course they can take that into the season, because from what I saw from the Lakers, there wasn't really a low point to call and say this is their weak link or they performed so bad in this area. They did good in almost all quarters of the game, so they can take that into the new season. And mind you, not all their star players were on that team. They had opportunities for the likes of Brandon Ingram, who is just coming up. He's just 21 years old, and he did 26 points in just that game. It was really fantastic in that game. And also, if you look at the Warriors side, they were missing Draymond Green. It really showed in that game, because defensively they were not as solid as the Lakers, they were not as solid as we expect them to be. And the coach came out to say
Iguodala was there. Iguodala is the main point man when it comes to
and the coach came out to say that they didn't manage their energy. They were exhausted in the first half, so it was difficult for them. And he's also trying different combinations to see how they'll fare in the season, just in case Draymond Green or Andre Iguodala is missing for them due to injury. So I think it was a fair game for both sides.
All right, now let's move on to something else in basketball, where Jimmy Butler practices with the team for the first time this season and verbally challenges his coaches, officials, and teammates as well.
I'm looking at
we're looking at this fellow, Jimmy Butler. He's had issues throughout the whole of last week, upper week, When are we going to stop talking about him?
I'm looking at Jimmy Butler, and I remember CP. I'm like, is this the kind of player you want on your team?
See, the thing is, it's all about the kind of player you want on your team. And he came out to say something. He said, you need to be honest. And when you're honest with the management, they should allow you do what is expected. The thing is on the contract there. But the side that did not buy that idea is, coming to the practice session and, creating a lot of problems.
Up to the
like
teammates.
saying it, openly that, okay, I played better. I don't want to play with these guys. And when you keep insulting your fellow players, it's not good. And for me, I have seen it that only what he needs is money. They asked him a question on his own part. He has been lying and trying to say, okay, Minnesota team, Timberwolves, they have they met? Are they having a meeting? Are they going to meet with the Miami or any other team? He said, yes, they are meeting. Yes, they are going to meet. At a point, they asked him a question, can this issue be resolved? Could it be resolved? And he said, yes, they can resolve it. And how do you resolve it? It's money. It's money he needs more because most of the other young lads have added some things for them. Remember, let's not forget this. He was the same person they traded 3 players for before they brought him in. And you traded a second pick and also a 12th pick or 13th pick thereabouts, and you brought in this guy. Now you want to leave thinking that it's going to be very easy. It's not going to be very easy. I think they're going to frustrate him, but you can't keep him because he's going to cause trouble in the locker room. It's truth. It's not football where one person cannot come out to insult the general manager, to insult the players and the rest of them. But in basketball, we are seeing it that it's one of the naughty things that get to happen in basketball. You feel you are one of the best. You see, he is not now in the NBA. He is not first 15 best players. Yes, he is, two-way players. He can score, he can make a difference for you. But when you talk about first 15 players that can give you points, players that can make you win the games, he's not in first 15. So for me, you don't need to cause problem in the locker room. Tom should look for a way and get rid of this guy, then try to get money. But what the Minnesota they are looking for is this. We need players. If we can pull off the players that will pull off them to get this guy, then we'll need to still get players. And they're bringing it to Houston. They're bringing it to Houston. Want to take PJ Tucker? Is not for me. I don't think
it's not reasonable.
It's not reasonable. Eric Gordon, yes, after 1 year he's going to leave already. You want PJ Tucker to join him because of this guy? I do not think so. I think Miami should continue to trade for him.
All right, let's give you some of the results from some of the games that were played during the week in the NBA preseason. We had the Raptors defeating Pelicans by 134 to 119. The Utah Jazz defeated the Sacramento Kings by 132 to 93. That was a blowout, if you ask me. The point margin is just too heavy. The LA Clippers defeated the Maccabi Haifa. I think they're beginning to play some teams from Europe, as a warm-up to the
outside
game.
the NBA.
All right, the Raptors also defeated the Nets as well, 118 to 91, while the Wizards defeated the Pistons 102 to 97. Draymond Green will feature in last preseason game against the Lakers. We hope to see all the best of these young lads come. I think it's about 2 or 3 weeks. Sorry, 10 days from now.
5 days.
5 days
Five
from
days
now,
from
on
now.
the 16th.
All right.
The NBA
Russell
will-
Westbrook has also been cleared for practice, but not full contact yet. We're going to leave the NBA now and move over to Asia, where the Shanghai Masters is taking place. Talk about tennis in its full force, where all the big guns, Rafael Nadal, unfortunately, is unavailable in this tournament. But we have the likes of Roger Federer, Novak Djokovic, and maybe a couple of others. But these are the 2 main players in that tournament. Kyle Edmund was eliminated by Alexander Zverev 6-4, 6-4, where he'll be facing Novak Djokovic, who defeated Kevin Anderson 6-3, 6-3 for a place in the quarterfinals. Meanwhile, Roger Federer was up against Roberto Bautista Agut in a keenly contested encounter with a 6-3, 2-6, 6-4 victory that sees him face Kei Nishikori, who won in turn to beat Sam Querrey 7664. Unfortunately, Kai Nishikori, like I always call him the underdog, has lost again to Roger Federer. We're looking at a final that might have Novak and Federer.
That's the most likely outcome in this tournament. We're most likely going to see a Roger Federer versus a Novak Djokovic.
And it's like it's been a while both players had come, in contact, especially on the courts this season.
Yeah.
We've not really seen both of them.
Considering the problems, the issues they've been having, they've all been because of their ages, they've been struggling with injuries. Djokovic has had a lot of injuries this year. Federer has constantly chosen the competitions, the tournaments to play in. It's because he's trying to manage his body because of his age. So it will be a really interesting matchup, considering the fact that Djokovic is in the form of the year. He's right now, considering the form, he is the best tennis player right now in terms of form. Nobody can take it away from him. But if it happens, it will be very good to watch. But Djokovic has to come up against an Alexander Zverev who has a lot of energy right now. Djokovic has played and won 2 Grand Slams. It's coming into this one, so he's a bit exhausted in comparison to Alexander Zverev. Zverev is a bit more fresh. We saw what fatigue or lethargy can do when Federer faced Nishikori. Nishikori looked flustered. He looked lethargic. He looked like he was in need of energy, while Federer was just cruising through the game. He skipped Beijing for Shanghai.
Maybe experience and much rest.
There was also experience. When I was watching that matchup, it felt like I was watching a teacher playing against a very good student. Nishikori is a very good player, but he was doing everything he could do right, but Federer was just a class apart.
All right, now, remember last week we talked about Kyle Edmund. I told you he's one of the Brits who is an underdog. Considering the fact that you don't have Andy Murray in the competition, for this year, both players have not represented their continent, if you allow me call it that. Kyle Edmund is one player, they keep overblown. The media will always tell you British number one, British number one. Coming against a younger player like Alexander Zverev, he was knocked out.
See, sorry, Carl Edmond had not been, in quote, a big player when it comes to the ATP ranking.
So what makes him the British number one?
British number one because Andy Murray is not there. That is just it. They don't have, those people like they can play tennis. Nobody has stepped up to that point. Like you're playing a good tennis. Andy Murray is not there. Carl Edmond. Okay, since you're playing a little tennis, you're taking much points, you can just surpass, Andy Murray. When Andy Murray comes back, play 1 or 2 games, Andy Murray will have to surpass you back. That is the thing. You have never gotten to the final before. You have not done this, you have not done that, but you're playing some competition that is giving you points. Because when you play it, you get points, you gather most of these points. Now we are looking at the Shanghai Masters. Shanghai Masters is 1,000 points. Now, I will bring it back to Roger Federer and Djokovic. Now Djokovic on his own path, he believes that he wants to win. When he gets that 1,000 points, he's going to topple Roger Federer
and Rafael
Nadal. And Roger Federer on his own path is not thinking about points anymore. What he's thinking of getting a Grand Slam, what he's thinking of just getting those titles and getting some money of it. That is what he's thinking of. He's 37 years old. Most of those things, him with Serena Williams, they are not really thinking of the rankings. Whether you're first, they are 20, they can believe they can beat you. So for me, coming to semi-finals now is a good one for him. Every match, people want to see the
best set of players.
Djokovic and Roger Federer. I think the last time they met this year, was it the Wimbledon Open, the Wimbledon or the Rogers Cup? One of these two is where they met, where Novak Djokovic had it against we'll call him the 19 Grand Slam winner. So for me, I want to see exciting game. We want to see who's going to grab that 1,000 points. Is it Novak Djokovic or is it Alexander Zverev or Roger Federer?
All right. Hopefully on Sunday we shall know who actually will win this one out there in Asia. We're going to go on a short break to see some of those highlights in the Shanghai Masters. When we come back, we'll be talking football in full throttle. Please stay with us. You just saw some of the highlights from the Shanghai Masters that's ongoing right now out there in Asia. Hopefully on Sunday we're going to see a beautiful matchup between Federer and probably Djokovic. Let's go into football and let's start from the local scene. The much anticipated ITO Cup semi-finals, talking about the women's category. Rivers Angels defeated Bielsa Queens by 2 goals to nil. Remember I told you that we need to move all the financial support from the Rivers United, the male team, to these women because they are doing us proud. I told Christian the last time, he was laughing and said maybe it will happen, maybe it won't happen. It's time we start supporting this female and giving, especially in this era where everybody's shouting feminists.
I think see, for me, I've always said it, like, not only the jewels of Rivers, but you can put the pride all together, the pride and the jewels of Rivers, for them, the Rivers Angels. You take away the pride of Rivers to Rivers United, they are not doing anything pride. They are not showing anything for me to call them the pride of
They
Rivers.
played in the same competition and you were
same
beaten.
competition. You did not win any one game. You
Three
did not even
games.
draw one game, and you lost out woefully. And for me, the Rivers Angels have been doing it. To call them the pride of Rivers, they have been doing a fantastic job after clearing them that there was no much evidence from Sunshine Stars, to showcase it that they fielded ineligible player to play against the Sunshine Stars, which they won by 2 goals to nothing. And coming out to win Bayelsa Queens, a tough team in the NWFL, a tough team. Bayelsa Queens, Nasarawa Amazons, Delta Queens, Ibom Angels, they are people like when they are like the English Premier League. You're talking about Manchester United, Tottenham, and the rest of them.
You want to go there?
If I have to go there, I always have to go there because I love the female football. But not taking anything away from them, winning by 2 goals to nothing, I think that particular one have pushed them to the final. And what a way to cruise into the final. This is the third straight final they are going. Third straight final. They are the defending champion already, and they have gone to the final, third straight final, and it's amazing. So that's to tell you that these girls are doing something in the league. Edwin Okon is the manager. If you take your mind back, 2014, Edwin Okon was the coach of the Super Falconets. We lost against South Australia, and I remember one thing he said. I know he's listening, but I have to say it. He said something that, you need to watch these girls. I have not watched them, so I have not watched the opponents. That's exactly what he said. But this time around, thank God he's watching the Bayelsa Queens and the rest of them and winning by 2 goals to nothing to the final. You can grab the 10 million naira. 10 million naira is something. Rivers United did not get anything. So you need to give them all the money. Celebrate the females. Celebrate them because they are amazing people in the States now.
Yeah, I think they've done well, but it was something that we expected them to do coming up against Bielsa United, the Bielsa Queens. They are the defending champions, so you need to prove why you are defending champions, and they've done it in a very good fashion. Winning by 2 goals to nil is no easy feat, especially if you know the NWFL very well. Keeping a clean sheet is almost very difficult in the NWFL, and they've kept a clean sheet.
In women's football generally,
Away from home, they didn't play in Rivers State, they played elsewhere, and they won convincingly 2 goals to nil. I think this trophy is theirs for the taking. They should go all the way.
and we wish them all the best in the finals whenever they take part in that. All right, Kennedy Boboye has quit as coach of Plateau United following the expiration of his 2-year contract. The first time I heard this, the first thing that came to my mind was it that he wasn't good enough?
If you check his record, I think at some point it started dwindling a bit after leading them to the title. So if you check his records for this season, it hasn't been really, really good. Playing in the ITO Cup and losing out in the first stage, failing to qualify for the CAF Champions League, the CAF Confederations Cup after winning the league. It wasn't really good per se, and his contract had expired. Maybe the club has looked at it like he's not taking us any further. He's done well for us, so we've honored his contract. He has honored his contract. It's come to the end. We think we need to move on, look for someone else. He refused to extend his contract, and he has left the team. Leaving the team, not going to his house because he still has an engagement with the under-23 side. So he's well employed. So let's see how it pans out for him on the 23 side. If he does really well, before long another team will pick him definitely.
I think for me, it's one thing that happens everywhere in the world. Once your contract elapses, it's either you renew your contract or you let go. and he signed a 2-year contract. He finished the 2 years contract. This is the end of the season. Fortunately, the league did not stay to the end. So once the league ends, your contract has expired, and he had to terminate the contract. We have seen Emma Mapakabo leaving Academy Warriors. We have seen FC Fanyuba coach also leaving FC Fanyuba, and I think they are still going to go around. The league will start in November. They are still going to go around to see, you know, go to Academy Warriors. Imam Mapakabo, okay, you're over there with the Super Eagles. Imam Mapakabo can also go in other place. Kennedy Boboye, fantastic coach. You know, he started from Abia Warriors. He moved to Sunshine Stars, and one thing that he has always, you know, done for himself is he wants to win. And coming to Plateau United, where I think the governor himself, you know, supported this team, and he made sure that Plateau United wins the league. He gave open hand to what is it called, to Boboye, and winning that league last season. But fortunately, this league he could not win the league. You know, going up and down. The CAF Champions League, he could not do anything. The CAF Confederation Cup, he could not do anything. That is one of the things. That is one thing that happened. But for me, I think he's going to find another job elsewhere.
Now, talking about coaches, the former Abia Warriors and present Sunshine Stars coach has made history, you know, by taking the Jos Club, you know, into their first MPFL championship. What does that mean for this club?
See, one thing you need to understand is that MPFL remains the MPFL. Whether you win the league, if you do not win the league, I think guarantee them to CAF Champions League or CAF Confederation Cup. And for me, it's just the best way to do it. Just the best way to do it. There is no need of hyping more. And one thing I need to understand, I need to tell people is this: it's not all about winning one. It's not all about winning one. When you win one, go to another team, showcase it that you can do it. We are seeing Pep Guardiola doing it. You win elsewhere, you're coming to England to show that, okay, I can also do this. Not when you win elsewhere, then you come to a new team, you go down, or you are coming out from 14th position to 13th position.
Maybe the other team he's moving into doesn't have the quality of players, and maybe they don't have enough financial backing as the previous one.
I always believe that you can't leave a better team and you decide to go to a worse team. There's one thing Jose Mourinho said. He said, if Ryan,
let's not talk about Jose Mourinho.
No. I just want to point out something. He said, if when he was in Real Madrid, and he said, if I can still win the league here, if Rayo Vallecano signed me, and I believe for them to sign me, they have the money to give me for me to buy the Cristiano Ronaldo, and I can still buy Cristiano Ronaldo. It will not be Ronaldo that won the league. It will be Rayo Vallecano won the league. So for me, when you go out from a good club, you go for a better club also to win. That's one thing about the NPFL.
All right, now let's move on to the big one for tomorrow. Nigeria is taking on Libya at the Nest of Champions, they call it, out there in Uyo. The boys are already buzzing. The camp is, you know, packed with players. They're all ready to, you know, take on the Libyans. And from what we're hearing, the coach of the Super Eagles, Gernot Rohr, has decided to hand the number 10 jersey or role to Alex Iwobi. I don't know what this means. Is it going to make him play better? Is it going to make him, you know, score more goals?
It should. It should improve not only Alex Iwobi's game, but also the general play of the Super Eagles. We've seen Alex Iwobi play for Arsenal. He's constantly been played in the number 10 role. But when he came to Nigeria, especially during the World Cup, he was played out on the flanks, where he was really ineffective in the first game against Croatia, and he had to be dropped to the bench. Now, playing in the number 10 role, we've had John Mikel playing in the number 10 role for us, and it has caused us troubles. No disrespect to Mikel, but it has caused us troubles. Mikel goes to his club side and he plays a defensive role. He comes to Nigeria in less than a week or in less than 2 weeks. You expect him to play in the number 10 role. The number 10 role requires different things from the players. They are midfielders, but they are not doing the same job. The number 10 role is supposed to be the player that creates the openings, creates the passes, the final balls for his strikers to get into. And we've seen Alex Iwobi done it successfully at Arsenal. In the last game where Alexander Lacazette scored twice, Aubameyang also scored twice, Alex Iwobi was very instrumental to that game. The other game where Arsenal came from behind to win, the game against Newcastle where it was looking like it was really difficult for Arsenal, Alex Iwobi came in and everything changed. So we're expecting Alex Iwobi to complete that number 10 role for us and do the job for us.
But some will argue with you that he has, you know, better quality players in Arsenal to help him improve his game, unlike what we have here?
We also have better quality play. We also have good quality players. If you look in the midfield, he has the support of Ogene Karetebo. He has the support of Wilfred Ndidi, who is one of the best holding midfielders in the Premiership in Europe. Ogene Karetebo moved from Spain to Stoke City. They paid a huge amount of money for him because he's good enough. So he has those players behind him supporting him. It's going to be easy for him. He has in front of him Isaac Success, Kelechi Iheanacho, Ahmed Musa. We're really spoiled for choices right now. So if we get our acts right, I think we should, with this kind of game plan, we should beat Libya comfortably.
Looking at the scoreline, what are you expecting?
I'm not expecting anything much. What I'm expecting is 3 points. Whether you win 1-0, 2-1, 4-3, is the 3 points that we need. And win the first game, win the second game. I don't understand, where you see Genetro saying, okay, you can win the first game, okay, get the second game maybe with a draw. You see, they want to bring the same thing they did against Cameroon in 2017. You win the first game 4-0, you go over there, you play 2-2. No, it's not working. Don't bring that mentality to the players. Allow them to play good football. Win your first game, win the second game. But who also said Nigeria is going to win the first game? That is another question to be asked. See, you can't bring players right now. Genetro is confused now on players that he's going to choose. 24 players or 26 players in the team. You need to choose 18 players. Out of the 18 players, then you pick out your 11, starting 11. Who is he going to pick first? That is the question. For me, you need to make the right choices. Igalo is there now. Yes, he scored penalty against Seychelles. Good one. Is he going to motivate him? He has scored 20 goals in his Chinese club. He's also going to motivate him. You have Isaac Success, who made his debut in 2016 against Senegal, which we drew that game. Now he's back in the team. Is he going to bring him ahead of Igalo? You still have Kelechi Iheanacho, them. You still have Ahmed Musa, Wilfred Ndidi, and the rest of them. See, make a good choice. Bring players that will play for Nigeria to win. Libyan side, they have good players. 2 players in the Portuguese side. They have 2 players in the United States. They have Al Ali. They have different. They also have majority of these players playing at home. Yes, we know their league have not been functioning because of the war zone happening over there in Libya. They are not going to even play their game, the next game, at home. And if they have not been playing at home and they have 4 points already, that's to tell you that they have something in mind. Coming over to Nigeria, they did not inform anybody that this is the time we want to arrive. And they came in on Thursday. They're supposed to come in by Tuesday, Wednesday, and they came in on Thursday. And they came to the hotel the NFF booked for them. They said, no, we don't want to use this hotel. There is this...
The question I want to ask, what's wrong with the standard of the hotel?
There is something the coach said. Remember, the coach actually, the Algerian coach resigned from his job. Remember, there is one funny thing he said, that Nigeria don't play the Super Eagles, or Nigeria don't play their football with open good eye. They always have something backing them playing. They believe that it's a negative side of it. But I always believe that, see, if you are afraid, you are afraid. And he resigned. Maybe that thing has entered into them. They said, okay, now that we are here, we want another.
Maybe they've done something funny at the hotel.
Now that we are here, we want another we want another hotel. And they have given them another hotel. If we were going to beat you, we'll beat you. But do I think Nigeria is going to beat the Libyan side? As a patriotic Nigerian, I will say yes. But as a football pundit, a football analyst, anytime that follows football all over the world, I will not stay here and tell you, yes, Nigeria is going to beat them. Anything that comes after 90 minutes, they will take it that way.
All right, I'm gonna ask them the players they would like to see in the team. Probably the first 5 to 6 players they would like to see start in that match. But before I do that, I also want to remind you that I'd also like to inform you that the question we have for you this evening is about tennis. And when I consulted with the Gladiators, they decided that what we need to give you is something very, very simple. Who won the US Open, the just concluded US Open, the female singles? Who won the US Open in tennis? The female single. Sending your answers to our WhatsApp handle, or better still, you can call us to to let us know about what you think and also be a part of the conversation tonight. All right. Now, Merit, if you're given an opportunity, which are the 5, 6 players you would like to see in the starting lineup come tomorrow against Libya?
Well, I'd like to see Wilfred Ndidi, Ogene Karetebo, Alex Iwobi, Isaac Success, Kelechi Hanacho, Ahmed Musa. I think I've mentioned 6 already. Well, I was going to mention Moses Simon, but I've mentioned 6 already. Now, I don't know why we traditionally go with one man up front and then we invite Kelechi Hanacho.
Do you think it's a
Isaac
traditional
Success.
thing or it's peculiar to Gennaro Raw?
I think if you follow football globally now, most managers tend to go with just one attacker, and I think Troy has bought into that philosophy. Maybe it was his philosophy all along, but we've been using one striker, but we keep inviting 4, 5 strikers for the international break. We have Simeon Wako, we have Odion Igalo, we have Isaac Success, we have Kelechi Anacho. I would prefer to go with 2 up front, but he's the manager. These 6 players for me, I think they should be starters in this team.
We're going to start with the goalkeeper. Which would you prefer?
Definitely, I'm going to take, what is it called? Uzoho.
Our 19-year-old
Yeah,
keeper.
the 19-year-old, he did well in the World Cup, and now he's playing, football over there in the Division 2 in Spain, with Elche. And for me, I think I'm going to pick him. Yes, now we don't have Truth Ekong. Ekong is not there. I'm going to pick Balogun. Definitely is going to start. And what is this? The Chelsea.
Before you go any further, let me ask you this question. Balogun hasn't really featured for his club in England since, I think it's just one game against United. We saw him. After that game, we've not been able to see him. Do you think he's fit enough for this kind of game? Do we keep calling players because they're there to be called, or we call players that are fit enough that will do the job for us?
I think not only the United game, I've really been featuring in some few games. And remember, after the United game, he had a knock. After the United game, he had a knock that actually sidelined him for 1 or 2
Well, I
games.
think he's the one that is sidelined. I think Ekong is the one in the squad.
No, Balogun is there. Ekon is the one playing for the Udinese, but actually had a slide injury. And I heard that they're actually going to invite him. I believe he's over there in Uyo, still monitoring proceeding on what is going to happen. But I think if you want me to pick, I don't want to pick the 2 Oyibo guys. I want to pick Kenneth Omeru and Leon Balogun. Now 3 already. In the midfield, definitely I'm going to see in the defense, still Adola Ishehu is also going to be there. There is this new guy that is coming from Paderborn. Is he going to play? Since Chejile is not going to be there, we still have 2 people. I will allow Genetro to pick because I have not seen them play much because they are playing in the Division 2. It's always difficult for us to watch the Division 2 except you want to watch the replay. But in the midfield, Wilfred Ndidi is there. Joel Obi is there, but I will pick Wilfred Ndidi. I will pick Onaze. I know why. Because Wilfred Onaze want to go, you need that tackle also to help you. Then you have Moses Simon, you have Alex Iwobi in front also helping. But in the front, just like what he said, I believe most of the coaches, they want to pick one man up front. But if you're picking one man up front, have a comfortable 8 that will always support. If you're picking 9, which is a Gallo, pick, what is it called? Kelechi Hanacho. That is his job. His job is not a that 9 role position. His job is to support the striker. When he went to Man City, they started using Pep Guardiola. Pellegrini started using him as 9. Pep Guardiola came in, started using him as 9. At a point, Pep Guardiola swapped it. And in Leicester City, they are also doing the same thing, except when Jamie Vardy is not around. So play him 8 and allow Ahmed Musa and Moses Simon to operate through the flank. If they can pick out the formation right, depending on the tactics they are going to play, I believe they are going to play 4-2-3-1 formation as normal. That is what Genetro always play, except he's going to change a different formation. But let's not forget something. We had this hype against South Africa, and South Africa came to Nigeria, the same Uyo, and beat Nigeria by 2-0. So if they put it well, we can beat the Libyan side. If they do not put it well, we said we will not lose. We can still lose or draw, then go over there away from home and beat the Libyan side also.
All right. Ogene Karo Etebo has also been talking tough. He's He's been telling us that come tomorrow, they're going to overhaul, whichever word you want to use, the Libyans and get us all 3 points. I'm looking for a convincing win. I actually spoke to Sports Bleep, television a couple of days ago about that match, and hopefully after tomorrow by 6 p.m. we would have the results and it will be in our favor. Let's look at some other, fixtures in the AFCON qualifiers. We have Cameroon taking on Malawi, Angola versus Mauritania, Gabon versus South Sudan. We have Guinea taking on Rwanda. Togo will also be locking horn against Gambia, Mali versus Burundi, Algeria versus Benin Republic, Cape Verde versus Tanzania. Egypt will be slugging horns against Swaziland, Uganda versus Lesotho. South Africa will be taking on Seychelles. Hopefully, Seychelles will do us a favor and probably halt them at some point. Congo, the Republic of Congo, will be taking on Zimbabwe. Burkina Faso will be handling Botswana. Morocco versus Comoros. Senegal versus Sudan. Equatorial Guinea will be taking on Madagascar. Mozambique, Namibia, Tunisia, Niger Republic, Kenya versus Ethiopia, Guinea-Bissau versus Zambia. Now let's move over to some of the games in Europe that took place yesterday and some taking place as we speak. We saw Turkey versus Bosnia. It ended in a stalemate. It was goalless in that one. Now the almighty France, the champions of the world that just won the World Cup, took on Iceland, and it took Mbappe, they call him the small Pepe, to rescue them, and that one ended in 2-all draw. Now I'm asking myself, this is the same France that, bamboozled everybody to winning the title. They've had some other games in the UEFA National League recently, which they did, comfortably well. I'm asking myself, with all the players and the quality they have, why couldn't they handle Iceland?
It's very simple. Before the game, I watched an interview with Paul Pogba. Pogba was very honest. He came out to say that when you have won the most important trophy in the footballer's life, which is the FIFA World Cup, it becomes difficult to motivate yourself when you're playing for your national team. And that is exactly what happened to France against Iceland. It was difficult to motivate this. It's difficult. They went to the World Cup. They played fantastic football. They won the FIFA World Cup. Some of these players probably never dreamed in their entire careers they would win the FIFA World Cup. And
just
they've
like
won,
Olivier Giroud.
And they've won the FIFA World Cup. A feat that Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi, some of the greatest footballers never got to taste. Now it becomes very difficult to motivate them. We're seeing something similar happening to Real Madrid. After winning 3 Champions League titles in a row, it becomes difficult to motivate these players. And that is what happened against Iceland yesterday. On paper, you'd look at France and Iceland and give France probably a 3-0 win or a 4-0 win.
Comfortably.
Remembering
also
how...
the fact they're playing at home as well.
Yes, remembering how even Nigeria were able to dismantle Iceland and how poor their results have been, coming to mean the world champions. Expect France to blow them apart, but it didn't happen. So they were 2 goals down, and it took the last 10 minutes of the game for them to salvage a draw. So I think the motivation for these players becomes very difficult, especially in friendly games. Probably in the UEFA Nations League against Germany, they will do better because they know they're coming up against a giant also. But in friendly games like this, you can't really blame them.
I think for me, when we stay and we looked at Iceland, most of us are still looking at Iceland like they are not a footballing nation. They are not doing anything in the football.
Honestly, they are not a footballing nation.
You might say they are not footballing nation, but they have proven to you and proven to so many people that they are footballing nation now.
By beating England sometime in the Euros.
By beating England, by giving Nigeria a run for their money. They
lost to Nigeria.
They drew against Argentina. Argentina is not a Nigerian's mate. You can't use them to compare with Nigeria when it comes to football. So the thing is that they have been doing well. Against France, if you say France is going to just run them away, give them 3 goals to nothing, 4 goals to nothing, one thing you need to understand is this. Just during the weekend, most of the France players, they were active in football. See, they have tired legs. That's another thing you need to consider. Apart from, what is it called? Only 2
French players.
No, only 2 Iceland players were active during the weekend, which is Segesin and one of the Burnley players. Only those two guys. The other ones came in 70-something minutes, few minutes, and Portuguese league and the rest. Most of those, they have fresh leg. And when you see what Paul Pogba played for Manchester United, they were 2 goals down and they had to come up. Like they brought out something else to play that game. So you can't compare them with the Iceland team. Iceland team, they're a very compact team. They play good football. Scoring 2 goals first, that shows you that they know what they are doing. They can actually come out to hit you. Don't look down on them. We have blown out England before. In the World Cup, we showcased ourselves. We moved up the ranking. So all those things, you need to consider it. So for France now, you need to put your eye. Now let's also remember that France, their first game in the UEFA Nation League against Germany, they did not win. They
was
drew.
a draw.
So they will draw also. So it's not all about coming out to motivate. I believe something that if you got something, you won the World Cup, you can. That is a point to motivate yourself more. For Robert to come out to tell me that because you have won the World Cup, it's very difficult to motivate yourself. For me, I think he's saying nothing that
No,
I
it
don't
happens.
believe.
It happens.
I do
It
not
happens.
believe it.
We saw when Chelsea won the league. The next season they capitulated. They won the league. The next season they capitulated. It happens. It depends on how well the manager motivates or manages these players at the end of the day. But if you have a manager that if the manager finds it difficult, then the players will lose focus.
You use Madrid as an example. You use Real Madrid as an example. They won 1, they motivated themselves. They won 2, they motivated themselves. They won 3. They have not gone out.
Not all the players in that squad, mind you, not all the players in that squad have won 3 Champions League titles.
It's not all the same players that played yesterday that played in the World Cup. So what are you saying?
Most of the better players in France are World Cup winners.
You know,
it's going to take you the next 4 years to play another World Cup.
When you say you do a business and you got so amount of money in the business, and you think, okay, because you have gotten billions of naira, you will not motivate yourself more. I
understand what you're saying.
No, for me, it's not an excuse.
I understand what you're saying, but Paul Pogba is a player here. He's playing with this way. He has come out to say, man, we have won the World Cup.
If you don't want to play, my friend, sit down. It's a normal thing. If you don't want to, you feel you can't motivate yourself to win, sit down and allow other people to play. So why coming out to give me an excuse because you drew against Iceland? I don't get it.
No, that was before the game.
Before the game, that's what I'm saying. Before the game, you have already made an excuse. What stops DJ Deschamps from doing what? Sit him down, bring another player that is motivated to play. Since him on his own path, he's not. If they are not motivated, Kylian Mbappe would have said, okay, since I'm not motivated, let me not score the 2 goals. But he scored. That means he wants to win. That is the football. They would have sat down and said, we don't want to win. But for me, they drew. And remember, they are topped in the ranking. They are in the same point with Belgium. And if Belgium gets to win, after the UEFA Nations League, Belgium will topple us. So that means they will come down also because the 23 ranking team have taken a point away from them also.
All right, another team, or rather country that was taught a lesson yesterday was Wales when they stepped up against Spain. It was a 4-1 hammering. But some will tell you the likes of Gareth Bale, which is their star man, wasn't there. Are we seeing Ryan Giggs beginning to show his true managerial color? But this is not the first loss.
I can't blame if it's judging from the game we saw yesterday, Wales versus Spain. I can't fault Ryan Giggs. You're playing against Spain, a rejuvenated Spain side, a Spain side being coached by one of the best tiki-taka managers in the world, Luis Enrique. We saw what Spain did in their previous game. They have Paco Alcácer. They have all the players you can name in the world. The Madrid player, what's his name now? Asensio, he's doing wonders. They have Isco and the rest of them. So coming up against Wales, winning 4-1, I think it was a fair result.
For me, I think Real Madrid themselves are already quarreling with Gareth Bale. That you are injured and you're moving from Real Madrid, going over there to visit, to go back to camp to train with to train with Wales. It doesn't matter for me. Is Spain, former world champion, 2010 world champion. They have done it. Now Luis Enrique is doing something inside. It's not all about okay, we have gone out from the World Cup, we played the World Cup is over, let's get serious in winning our games. It brings back that team back, it brings them together to make sure they win. Against Wales, winning Wales is a good stuff also for them.
Alright, we also saw Argentina playing Iraq. It was a merciless Argentina, but it ended in 4 goals to nil. It was a trashing. Maybe they don't need Messi anymore.
Messi wasn't
There's
there.
been talk about him from that legend Maradona saying maybe he needs to retire. Do you
Messi-
think?
See, they have played much more as a team. In 2 games now,
Without Messi.
Sampoli brought in some different guys. They have played much more as a team. When you have, in quotes, one of the best players in the world, and you're having him in a team. Most times you want the ball to go to him. Most times you want the ball to go to him. But when he's not there, you see
Everybody has to step up.
everybody want to step up. They want to play good football and winning. Iraq is not really a name in football for me. Yes, they are making themselves known in one way or the other. They are not Iran. Iran is a different team. Iran can hold you down. But Iraq, for me, they are not really. It's a friendly game. But winning by 4 goals to nothing, I think it's a good one. Also, a debutant scoring the last goal also for
And
me.
then I was going to say what CP said is correct. When you have a star player, you tend to build a team around it. But when he's not there, everybody has to step up. I also saw the game of Portugal against Poland yesterday. Portugal scoring 3 goals without Cristiano Ronaldo. If it was a Cristiano Ronaldo team, maybe it was going to be maybe 2-0. Cristiano Ronaldo scoring both goals, but he wasn't there, and the other players stepped up. This is what we want to see in teams.
All right. That's all we have time for on the show tonight. I want to say thank you to you guys for coming on the show. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. I appreciate that.
Always a pleasure to be here.
All right, let's do this again come Monday. Same time, same station. You guys didn't answer the question. The prize still remains.
Can I answer the question?
Until next time. Let's do this again on Monday. Till then, I remain Charles Equado saying good night and God bless.